What's going on, guys? It's Aaron here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the SCHF37, the Schrade Frontier 37. I see a lot of reviews online about this particular knife, and I'd like to dive into the philosophy behind knives while I'm at it. So I purchased this knife, I'd say about a year ago, and it was on knifecenter.com, and it was only about $35 without shipping. With shipping, it's about $45, somewhere around there. And that's standard delivery. And what I look for in a survival knife, first off, let me explain. I practice primitive survival skills. Flint knapping is a big one, bone working is one, and a lot of that is producing your own tools, scrapers, knives, chopping implements, using flint knapping. But I always carry with me some sort of knife and some sort of chopper. Let me pull out this, if I can. Actually, it's in my backpack, but I can't. And what I look for is a few things. There's a nice choil on this knife here, that little indent, and that's good. I can get nice fixture on my hand so I can scrape and carve with this. As a bow maker, my primary hunting tool would be a bow. I've been shooting bows for 13 years and making bows for about 13 years. And I can use this as a draw knife. I can hit this into a stick and use that stick to pull like a draw knife, and also as a scraping implement. But one thing I need to note is a lot of people have the misconception of using knives like this as a chopping tool. That's not recommended. I'm no knife expert, but I've heard many stories of people pulling this particular knife out of the package, going to split a 4-inch thick hickory log with it, and it snaps, and they get pissed off. And that's the downside with someone who's chopping with that kind of tool. And that's why I always carry a knife, two knives actually, and I always carry some sort of chopping implement, be it a machete, be it a small camp axe or a hatchet. Of course, if I had no choice and I was stuck in a situation where all I had was this knife, of course I would use it for moderate chopping, bending a sapling about 2 inches thick and chopping that for whatever I'm going to use it for, and for splitting small firewood. But I never recommend using a knife to chop. It's going to damage your knife most likely, and you'll end up wasting a tool. One thing I do like to use as a coating for my blades, let me see something real quick. I see a little bit of rust. So I use Vaseline. A thin layer, I'm not sure if you can see that, but a thin layer of Vaseline is extremely waterproof. It just beads up the water and prevents anything from penetrating into the steel. This is a 1095 high carbon hollow grind, slight hollow grind knife. And 1095 is high carbon, is known to rust. And so if I don't have access to Vaseline, bear grease, deer fat, hog fat, any kind of oil that will protect the knife blade. To be honest, I haven't used this knife yet. I'm holding on to it. I'm keeping it for whatever I'm going to use it for in the future. But it's a good knife. It's got a nice coating on it. Some people don't like the coating. I like it because even though it reduces friction or creates a lot of friction when you're carving, it's going to be a corrosion barrier. It's going to prevent a lot of corrosion, and it's basically like an oil on the knife in itself. Anyways, that's just a short video. I do recommend, anybody learn flint knapping, the basic flint knapping techniques, and bone working and stuff like that. You never know when you're going to be in a situation where you don't have access to a steel knife, and you can't rely on that. And also, one thing to note is I have a small whetstone in here and a ferro rod, and that comes in handy, especially with that. Anyways, guys, I know that's not the best review, but it's I definitely give the knife a 4 out of 5, even though I haven't used it that much. I've used it for some small carving, but all in all, it's a nice knife. It's cheap. If you don't fuck with it too much, excuse my French, it won't break, so you got to be careful. Anyways, take care.